Hello! Before I catch this flight, I had to quickly stop by the studio to go ahead and give you some news. All right? Now, if this is your first time tuning in, this is the Let's Meet the Author show, a show where we interview different self-published authors from around the world. Everyone, I've already announced on Facebook the type of author that you're going to be getting today. So stay tuned and let's meet the author.
Thank you for joining us on Let's Meet the Author, the online show that introduces self-published authors to the world. Let's join the conversation with our host Guilene and today's guest author.
Hello everyone, welcome again to another show of Let's Meet the Author. Today I have someone who has rubbed elbows with different authors, different actresses, and different artists. I am super stoked to go ahead and have you guys meet him. And he's also my first male guest, so I'm super excited. He is also the CEO and president of Remote Vision Productions. And he's an author of not only one book, not only two books, but of 5 books. Everyone, please welcome Deriyun McGee.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. So you really have rubbed elbows with different famous people, huh?
A few. Master P, Rashida, Yandy, Timo from Goody Mob, Big Gip, Hulk Hogan. Just a few famous people. Just a few.
Not bad. And you've also written 5 books.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I have 3 children's books, 1 self-help book, and 1 novel.
Nice. So I'm super excited. We're going to talk about just one of the books. Even though he wrote 5, we're only going to have time to talk about 1 today. And then he got to come back so we can talk about the other books. So today, we're going to talk about your book titled Rewind.
Yes.
So it was interesting. So I read it and I was like, well, this is really interesting. It's a different take. And I like that. I like it. So one of the things you stated was, what if you had a second chance to make the most important decision of your lifetime?
Yes.
So why write about that? Like, so that question, I know a lot of people say, oh, I wish I had a second chance to do this and make different decisions, but why write about that in your book? Like, what inspired you to write about that?
In life, we make choices, and I'm sure a lot of people wish they could go back in time and actually rethink that or do something different to have a more desirable outcome.
Right. And then your book was pretty interesting. I liked it. All right. So your book, it starts off with the meeting with family and friends, with Zach and Andre. And I'm not going to give too much away about the book, but in the book, Andre is battling cancer, right? Yes. And only his wife only knows that, right? So the family doesn't know it. But then, and also Deshaun is at a book signing about how to deal with death and missing your loved ones, which from what I understand is another one of his books.
Yes.
So they're going out, everything is fine. Some people are still, like Andre is battling some things, but you guys are just meeting, and so everything is kind of casual, right?
Yes, in the beginning. All right. At first.
Yes. And then, as we go into chapter 4 and 5, that's where the bad news comes in. So let's talk about that. So about Andre.
Okay.
So go ahead and tell me about Andre, what he's battling, like why. Yeah, go ahead and just describe Andre a little bit. Tell me about him.
So Andre is the big brother to Deshaun, and unfortunately, he has cancer.
Yeah.
He tries to hide it, but it's obvious upon the get together.
Yeah.
And just basically, the focus is a lot of people. They focus on the doctors, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of holistic, natural cures, and we don't talk about that enough.
Right.
So I really wanted to address that and highlight that in this book.
Yeah. And you did. You really did. And then there's, in the book, you also talked about alternative natural remedy, just as you stated, different ways and different approaches to cure cancer.
Correct.
And so I was like, okay, so I'm turning the pages. I'm liking it. And then, but Andre is kind of like he's resistant.
Yes.
to go approaching that or using that particular approach, and it cost them, right?
Yes.
So then in chapter 6, it goes further. So Andre passes away. I did give a little bit on the book, but it's fine. It's fine.
Okay,
So
okay. A lot of surprises in this book.
it's a lot of surprises.
It's a lot of
Literally, it's a
surprises.
page turner. So Andre passes away, and that's when Zach comes in. He's like, "Hey, it's working. The medicine is working." And then that's when Deshaun gets upset.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And then that's when, if he can take back, he can pretty much, if he can rewind, this is what would happen. So go ahead and talk a little bit about that. So, because I understand Zach and Deshaun are in the business with the alternative medicine. And what is it called, the alternative medicine?
Moringa.
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 Yes,
All right.
yes.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that part really soon. We're just going to take a short break, and you're going to go ahead and get to see Author's Pick. That's a segment in the show where you get to hear the author read a certain particular part in their book. Stay with us.
It's now time for Author's Pick.
I will be reading from chapter 7, Let 'em Know. Good evening, and welcome to another edition of The McGee Show. As always, I'm your host, Stacy McGee. Tonight, we have an incredibly special guest. He is a best-selling author who has previously been listed on the New York Times bestseller list. And tonight, he will be discussing his newest book, How to Deal with Death and Missing Your Loved Ones. We are very honored to have him tonight, author Deshaun Jones. Mr. Jones, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Deshaun smiles. Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure, he says to Stacy. So give us a little background on your new book, How to Deal with Death and Missing Your Loved Ones, she says to Deshaun. Deshaun responds, I wrote this book in hopes of assisting those who are finding it difficult to deal with loss in their own lives by pulling from the experiences of loss I've had in mind. When I began writing, I was going through a lot of traumatic losses myself. So I dedicated this book to my mom, my dad, grandfather, and my brother, Andre Jones, whom I lost this year. None of those were easy losses, but I feel the best way to deal with death is to focus on life. Focus on life to deal with death, Stacy repeats Deshaun. Deshaun continues, the more we can appreciate and embrace life, whether current or past, the easier it is to see that there are bigger things in motion. The spirit never dies. To be out of the body is to be in the presence of God.
Hey guys, it's your girl Tiffany here, your favorite social media specialist. I just wanted to go ahead and tune in with you guys very quick because I don't ever want you to miss out. Go ahead and make sure that you like our Facebook page, Eagle-Eye Video Maker. Stay tuned for notifications for great updates and also our lives. Make sure that you go ahead and push that like button.
Thank you for staying with us. So the part that you read from chapter 7, why read that? Why choose that particular part for Author's Pick?
The reason why I chose that particular chapter is that's what causes the chaos.
Yeah.
You know, in the midst of the chaos, Deshaun discovers that he has a special ability. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to use that as the part to pretty much open everyone up to what's about to happen in the book.
Oh yeah, because it gets more interesting. It really does. Thank you. So then, but everything has a consequence. Everything has a cost, whether it's intentional, whether it's unintentional, whether it's good, whether it's bad. So now we're about to go into the different consequences of what happened in chapter 7 when he decided to spread the news, right?
Correct.
So is that a consequence that you would expect something to happen? Because you're spreading good news about this natural remedy to cancer, and it didn't, I'm not going to give the book away, but it didn't end well. Am I correct?
You could say that, or you could say it did end well,
Okay.
depending on your
Okay.
your view of how
Right.
the story, the turn in the story.
Uh-huh.
So, one thing that I really want to focus on is real life scenarios,
Right.
things that we have witnessed happen.
Right.
Nipsey Hussle, Dr. Sebi, you
Yeah.
know, people that have tried to help cure the world, and for some strange reason, you know, they
Something
met their
always
demise.
happens.
So in this
Yeah.
book, I wanted to really focus on more of the conspiracy theories and things
Right.
that are happening in life or could be happening, things that
Mm-hmm.
I want to really dive into the reader's imagination.
You did, and you went there. Because again, I'm turning the pages. Then we go into chapter 10, right? Which is pretty much rewinding time. Things are being done a little bit different, all right? Or a lot different. So that's when we go into that. So tell me a little bit about that part. Do you think it was good consequences or bad consequences once the time rewind?
Well, so exokinesis is reality manipulation. And I don't want to give too much of the book away.
Exactly.
But I grew up watching superhero movies.
Right.
I love Flash. I watch that show a lot. And if you watch
Right.
Flash, the faster he runs, he's able to go into the future.
Right.
You know.
Superman did the same thing in his movie when he went back to save his love. All right, and he went and he kept going back in time, and then he spent the world around.
And so did Captain America.
Yep,
And was the
exactly.
Endgame. Right?
Yep.
He went back in time and came back an
Exactly.
old man.
Yep.
So I watched if I'm saying this right, the Gaia channel, Gaia. And I see a lot of information coming out now about time travel, and
Right.
it could be an actual thing that's really available to us that we're
Right.
not aware of.
Right.
So I wanted to incorporate that also into my book rewind.
You did. All right, and then one part I noticed. So when he rewinds, things are happening. Andre is alive, which is great, right? The rapping, going into the studio, recording. I mean, just dreams are happening, right? Things are happening. But then also you dropping little hints that goes, wait, oh my gosh, something's about to happen. That was my favorite part because it kept me on the edge of my seat. So once you guys read it, you'll love it. It literally kept me on the edge of my seat. So now, in one part, Deshaun starts realizing, wait, I may have this gift. All right, and I'm like, okay. He was dreaming, and then he stated in the dream, it said, why gain the riches but lose your soul in the process? And that's when he starts, I call it awakening. Right? Yes. Awakening. Correct. And that's when he began to realize it. So we're going to talk about that, but I want to take a short commercial break. All right, and then when we come back, we're going to go dive a little bit deeper into this awakening that Deshaun has. Stay tuned with us.
Here it is, the sordid lives of Jesus' ancestors. Every family has skeletons in their closet. Jesus' family does too. These are compelling and insightful stories of strong, determined, and unlikely women chosen by God to be in the bloodline of Jesus. A novel by Alice Newsome. Get your copy today at alicenewsome.com.
Thank you for staying with us. We have Deriyun with us today. All right, so now he's realizing he's awakened. Like, okay, there's something that's in me, right? Then in chapter 12, temptation. Oh my gosh, I was going, I can't believe all this is happening. So, and he decides all the temptation. So let's talk about that scene, the temptation, when you talk about the different things that are happening at the mansion. So let's talk about that. Go ahead.
Okay, so
without giving too much in the book.
Yeah, without giving too much. So, as you can tell, this book is really centered around conspiracy theories. All right, so the part of the mansion,
right,
and the music, a conspiracy theory.
Right.
You have the Illuminati,
right,
that are also involved in the entertainment industry.
Right.
They influence people, artists, and the quote you said earlier, as far as gaining riches
Right,
and losing your
losing your
soul,
soul.
gaining the world and losing your soul, that is part of quotes that I've heard other artists use as far as selling their soul for the fame and the money. And so in this book, I wanted to capture things that could possibly
Right.
be happening in the world, or it could just be a conspiracy theory.
And thing is that I wouldn't be surprised if it is happening, because you made it sound realistic and you just added a lot. And again, I'm not going to go too much into it, but again, it just, wow, it surprised me and then it saddened me at the same time. But Deshaun goes and he intervenes. That's all I'm going to say. Y'all got to read the book to go ahead and find out more. But he intervenes, all right? And again, because he's having this power, right? All right, so then chapter 14, actually, before I go on 14, 13, they unintentionally get involved in the war. I was not expecting that, because I figured, okay, after he intervenes, things are going to go fine, it's going to calm down. But they unintentionally get involved. Zach, Deshaun, and Zach, remind me, Zach is three of them. Zach, Deshaun, and Andre. Thank you. So they unintentionally get involved in this war. All right. And that's when Deshaun is like, oh my gosh, he's getting different dreams, he's getting different visions, and he's realizing that, oh my gosh, I have these special abilities with the special help of Sarah, right?
Correct.
So let's talk about that. Go ahead and talk about that. What do you want to say about that one?
So when it comes to the rap music, there's a particular type of rap that is going on right now that I think is detrimental to our culture and to our youth. Right. If you notice, there's a lot of young brothers, young rappers that are being murdered, killed, such as King Von, Pop Smoke. It's centered around the drill scene, the drill music.
Yeah.
Drill music is murder music.
Yeah.
And in my book, I want to address a possible situation that the CIA or the feds could be actually pushing this music to kill us young people. Now that could be fake. It could be a conspiracy theory, but I figured it'd be very entertaining.
It was.
And so I wanted to actually capture the essence of this movement that is really destroying our youth.
Right. And it's so funny because in the book, you outlined the villains and then you outlined the good guys, right? But then there was one part I'm like, wait, but I thought he was the good guy. And he's like, wait, he's not the good guy. And I thought this was the bad guy. And he's not the it literally had me on the edge of my seat. So I appreciate that. Now we're about to take another commercial break. Please stay tuned with us. We'll be right back.
Hi everyone, Michael Newsom here with Eagle-Eye Video Maker. And I've got some great news for you, but first I want to ask you a question. Have you ever wanted to have your own show? Your very own show? Well, Eagle-Eye Video Maker is making that possible for you. Whether it's a cooking show or an interview type show or spoken word show, it is your platform. You're the artist. Eagle-Eye Video Maker is making possible our studio so that you can come in, we will record your show in 1080p high definition, and our staff will do all of the production work, handle all of the lighting, handle all of the audio and the sound, just to make your show number one. So click the link below in the description box and get all the details. I can't wait to see you so that we can get your show started today.
Thank you for staying with us. So now, as we spoke earlier, Deshaun is in the book, is realizing his power with the help of Sarah. And in chapter 14, all right, and going to 15, it's about to go down. I'm telling you, it's about to go down. War, because you even titled it War. It's about to go down.
Yes.
A lot of things are happening, a lot of commotion, and a lot of drama, all right? But Deshaun is ready, right? Because when you read through the book, again, I'm not going to reveal too much, but as you read through the book, Deshaun's getting ready. He's realizing his potential. He's realizing his gift. He's realizing he could be a hero, all right? So, and that he is a hero because of the different visions and dreams that he has. So in chapter 15, it's about to go down. So I was curious. I was reading the book, and I just got one question. Why not rewind when it's about to go down? 'Cause I'm telling you, it was about to go down. Why not rewind again?
Well, with great power comes great responsibility. And a lot of times, I feel we all recognize that we have gifts.
Right.
However, during the process of discovering our gifts and actually making a change in our environment, we have to master those gifts first. So if you want to have a better idea of Deshaun's ability, look up Edgar Casey, spelled C-A-Y-C-E. He was the sleeping prophet, one of the most powerful
You did
men.
mention it. Yep. You did mention it because he thought about it. He's like, wait, am I the next, Edgar? Yes.
Edgar Casey.
Yep.
I know a lot of people are not aware of who that really was, and the man had the ability to actually leave his body, have his soul leave his body after he would pray in the name of Jesus. He would pray, and he would be able to be guided by angels to the Akashic records and tell you pretty much anything. He has a library in Virginia Beach, and I've been there twice already.
Nice.
So
Okay.
he could tell you anything, any cure, anything you can ask. He could give you a direct answer. And so look him up, and they'll give you a better idea of where Deshaun gets his powers from.
Okay. And then at the end of the book, y'all, once you read it, he leaves you hanging. He left me. I'm going, well, maybe my producer didn't give me all the pages of the book, but you left me hanging. You left the readers hanging.
By design.
By design? Okay.
By design. That was on purpose. That was on purpose. So,
all right.
Rewind part 2.
It's coming soon.
It will be.
And then you'll come back on my show, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Definitely,
all right.
definitely.
So
I love it here.
I'm glad. Thank you again. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I really, really do.
Pleasure
You took
all
time
mine.
out of your busy day and you came, and I definitely appreciate you coming on the show.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Thank you. So now I want you to go ahead and leave a quote for your readers, for our viewers, for our fans. What quote do you want to leave with the readers today?
All right. I'll stick with the quote you said earlier.
All
And it's
right.
on the cover of my book. What if you had a second chance to make the most important decision in your lifetime? What if you could do that? Think about that.
So now that you went ahead and you explained a little bit about your book, go ahead and tell everyone, where can they find your book?
Okay. My website is authormcgee.com. McGee, M-C-G-E-E. And through my website, I have a direct link to Amazon. All 5 of my books are available on Amazon. Also, through my website, there's a direct link to my social media sites. My Instagram is my first name, Deriyun _published_author. Once you type in my first name, Deriyun, no matter where you type it, Google it, any social media platform, my page will come right up.
Nice, nice. Thank you again. I appreciate that.
No problem.
All right. You guys have a great night. Bye.